Greetings, welcome to the Black is Beautiful podcast. My name is Simone. I am one of the hosts for this show, and I would like to introduce you to the second host.
What's going on, guys? My name is Chris J. Bernard, aka No Main the Poet, and I am, the co-host with Simmer.
Yo, my name's Ed. I'm one of the regular guests on Black is Beautiful.
Cool. My name's Jermaine. I'm also one of the regular guests on the Black is Beautiful podcast. Greetings.
Thank you all for coming to sit upon the table.
Come on. Finally.
Guests, those of you that are watching Black is Beautiful podcast, let us introduce to you what it's all about, why we've chose to do this. Yeah.
So many reasons, guys.
So many reasons. Black is Beautiful is a brand. Not only are we doing the podcast, but we also provide clothes. For those that don't know, check out the Black is Beautiful store online. Model, Chris, come true.
You can grab that.
You might take off that jacket.
Yeah.
You might take off the jacket.
Let me take it off. Sorry.
Yeah,
The owner telling me if I take it off, guys. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, that looks better still. The reason why we've decided to come together and start this podcast is because for so many reasons, to highlight the beauty within our community, to highlight challenges, to discuss and bring forth solutions as a collective. Regularly, we will be having guests to join us, bring on guests, talk about so many different topics, and just Billa vibes.
100%.
Just Billa vibes, you know what I
Connect
mean?
with people again and just have a conversation about stuff, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
It'll be good. I think all of us have a specific a specific idea as to what black is, like what we find beautiful about black culture, what we find beautiful about black people. So, who wants to start?
So who wants to start on what Black is Beautiful is to you? I think you should start, Chris.
Why me, man?
I don't mind.
Why
I don't mind. Yeah,
Alright.
we've all been speaking individually for at least I would say about a year, just saying, look, we got to do something.
Yeah.
And I think from my point of view, it was just a case of how do we come together to showcase the color black in a positive light and the culture in a positive light. So that's why I was enthusiastic to come on this podcast or create it with everybody together so that we can really showcase the color black and the culture in a positive light. 'Cause we all felt we couldn't see many platforms doing it, you know, so.
And I feel like there's certain things that are not a negative impact on the black culture as well. And we could be putting our time and effort into other things. And again, I know we're going to have a debate later on, like, is drill good for the community? And I know that's a pressing subject. And I know we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
And then we've got obviously things like, we've got poetry that's well respected within the black community, and why that hasn't got more of a push and more of a limelight. So we're going to be talking about loads of stuff, guys. So stay tuned.
Yeah, for me, I think Jermaine touched on it. It's more a case of having variety. So there's a lot of podcasts out there that are doing their thing, highly respected, and I watch some of them and listen to some of them. But it's a case of you got to have a variety. So you can have the podcasts that talk about things that are not that serious, but you also need sometimes something to come along and, you know, like we're trying to do, highlight the positive. The positives in the black community, etc. So that's why I was interested in on coming on the podcast.
And then for myself, for the last, I'd say at least 4 years, I've been really passionate about our community and wanting to see a change and wanting to see a positive uplift. And
one
also,
of the main reasons why you started Support is Love, right?
Yeah, you know, it started off with Come Chat with Simmer, regular interviews of people in our community and showcasing what they're doing.
Exactly, yeah.
So we can support them. You know what I'm saying? Support their businesses, support their whatever they're passionate about,
Yeah.
and share it so other brothers and sisters can see Wagwan. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, to be a part of this, I'm highly grateful. Because I feel like with what I've taken on and learned through Support is Love, I have a lot to share. And I see nothing but beauty
Yeah.
with our culture, with who we are. So yeah, that's why I'm happy to be a part of the Black is Beautiful podcast, and also being an ambassador for the clothing line as well. So if you haven't already, check out the website blackisbeautifulstore.com. And let's have a look, Mr. Model Chris. Panya t-shirt.
You must get it, yes. You must get it, yes. Or, you know.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, definitely got shorts, jackets, everything in it, Jermaine.
Yeah, no, 100%, man.
Tracksuits,
And a lot more stuff coming.
sliders,
Sliders for real. I need to,
and more to come.
For real.
Stay tuned. Anyway, plug.
Black is done. Black is Beautiful fashion show coming soon.
You know,
Everything, boy.
This is the thing. Trying to take over, man.
Black History Month. What's your thoughts on that? I'm going straight to Ed's.
Why you pick me, man? Picking on me.
I'm picking.
For me, it's a weird one because I think it's needed for people who aren't familiar with it. So people of other cultures who don't necessarily know the positives in the Black history, etc. It's needed for them. But for me, like I said when we spoke about it, every day in my household is Black history.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not needed for me because all my kids know, or all we kind of talk about is Black history. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So down from the people who are making history now to the people centuries ago. So and it's not just one thing as well that I don't like about Black history is that sometimes it's too geared towards just highlighting slavery, whereas that's not all Black history is. Do you know what I mean? So there's pros and cons for it. I wouldn't abolish it or anything like that, just because I think it is needed just to carry on pushing the positive agenda.
I feel like just to touch on what you said, like again, it kind of keeps us in a. I feel like Black History Month, especially in this country, it keeps us. It doesn't elevate us. It keeps us where they want us to be. And when I say where they want us to be, you know, me talk about the white man then. But yeah, yeah, straight up, bro. This is Black is Beautiful, fam. What are you talking about? Yeah, I just feel like it's almost a mentality wise. So they keep you. I was like, this is all that you are, type thing. This is all that you are remembered to be. When really, there's so much greatness. Not even if you take away from civil rights. Not even talking about Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X. There's great African kings that the Moors. I don't know if people know about the Moors, but I don't think the general public or general Black population know a lot about the Moors.
Mansa Musa.
Like the richest man ever lived.
Let me ask you a question. If say for an example, you've had a newborn child, right? And do you think it would be more beneficial to your child to never learn about slavery than to learn about it? In their adulthood, do you think it would serve them better to not know about slavery or not? Do you get the
I get what you're saying. It depends, because I feel like if you're telling me from the same time as a child that I was told about slavery, I was also told about the Moors, right, then I'm going to gravitate towards the Moors. Right. Because if you look at the white population, they know what they did to Black people. Yeah. But they also have Napoleon Hill, a statue, and they have Winston Churchill. And I'm so proud of Winston Churchill. But they also know about the madness that they did. Yeah. And that doesn't affect them from going out into the world and being like, I'm a white man, and being proud of that. They don't think, my great grandfather was a slave owner, so let me just
but there's
down. But us now, we have to be like,
But there's two differences to being a slave owner than being a slave.
Yeah, you.
So my thing is, would you grow up with that sense of what's the word that I'm looking for? Inadequacy. Had you not known about slavery, so say for instance, no one tells you. You go through, you get to your 30s, and no TV shows, it's almost like it's been erased from history.
Are you talking about the energy as well? So like, for example, you don't see it. So like, you don't feel it. So for example, if you're in a store, do you not necessarily, if you're in Tommy Hilfiger, do you still feel that they're looking at you?
But would you feel it if you didn't know it exists? You see what I'm saying?
I
What I'm
hear what
saying
you're
is that a
saying,
lot
yeah.
of
It's a good question.
and I'm not saying that slavery shouldn't be taught or anything like that. This is just me having a discussion with you.
It's a good question.
But
It's a good question.
it's just one of those things where as soon, I'll talk about my personal experience. As soon as I was taught about slavery and all this stuff, it's almost like you can't help but almost feel inadequate compared to the white man. Do you know what I'm saying? So
I
I'm
don't
saying-
know, because I feel like slavery is also recent in our history.
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on if you also have the education and knowledge of about who we were before slavery, you know, our actual ancient history
Yeah, but
as
that's
well.
not taught.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not taught in, okay, so slavery is taught
understand?
in schools, but you was like, if you had a child. So this
Yeah.
is where it comes to, what are you teaching your child?
Yeah.
So as long as we
Exactly.
teach them from the beginning of time,
Yeah.
and then you work your way through the timeline,
Yeah.
then I feel that would help
Yeah.
the
But-
child's, I guess.
Psyche.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That highlights my issue with Black History Month, especially when it's on TV and taught at schools. It's almost like it starts from slavery.
From when them want it to
It doesn't
start.
start from
Exactly.
Africa and what we were doing in Africa before and all that stuff. It just starts literally, you guys were taking the slaves to wherever, Caribbean, to the US, whatever. And from there, you fought for your freedom, and now you're free. And all these civil rights leaders, blah 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 blah, which is cool. But you're still telling us that that's where we kind of started.
Yeah, yeah.
See what I mean? That's the issue that I have with Black history. It's not, you're not giving us our whole history. You're just giving us bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And some of the bits and pieces that you're giving us, it's almost like Chris said, to keep us grounded, to keep us down,
Yeah.
because this is what you guys came from. This is what you were.
And this is the same
what I'm
thing.
saying?
This is the same thing when I think BBC released Small Acts last year, Black History Month, and every single one, and yeah, pretty much every single one was 1930s, 1940s. I think there was only one, and that was the
The long
Lovers
rave.
Rock.
The long rave.
Yeah, the Lovers Rock that no one liked. I don't think anyone liked it.
I'm not
I
gonna
liked it
lie,
for like the first half an hour.
I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
That's
But
because I
again,
like music.
but
I
what
was
happened
waiting
though?
for something
No,
to happen.
No, but
One
what happened?
sec.
No, but what happened though? Someone got raped. A woman got raped.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there's still, it's like, oh yeah, look how you got catch a vibe, but let's not forget who you are. Like let's not forget what happened in it.
The
So it's like,
director was black though.
no,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
no,
yeah, it
but
was, yeah.
again, it's the BBC.
I understand,
what I'm saying?
but what
And-
I found with the Small Acts, I really actually did. I watch all of them. I don't think I did, but I watched the one with Mangrove 9, and I thought, do you know what? I get what you're saying, but I actually really really enjoyed the actual.
I get what and it's empowering. Don't get me wrong, it's empowering. It makes us feel good, but
To
it's
be,
like,
you know what it is? I think the reason why I enjoyed it as well is because I didn't know the story. I actually work for the guy who ran the restaurant. I can't remember his name.
yeah.
Frank, was that his name? I think that's his
I
name.
didn't watch it.
Actually work for his son.
Oh, is it?
So to know the history and to know that his family still carrying a legacy, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I think sometimes as well, we got to be mindful as well to, I guess, because that kind of, we could be knocking down another brother
See, now this is where
for
I think,
what he's doing. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I hear you, and it's like, and this is what I feel like, where BBC, ITV, they're picking at now. They're realizing that a lot of us are proud of our family's heritage. They're proud of what our grandparents did in the Windrush period, and they're like, oh, this should be celebrated. because you don't celebrate us now, you don't celebrate us in the present. So you know what? Celebrate us for back then. So they'll find these individual families. Oh, you did that back then. Oh, do you want to talk about that? Oh, we'll make that into a thing. Oh, and you'll get a little financial. You'll get a little, you know what I mean, with it as well. Oh yeah. And finally, that's almost because black people have never had reparations before. That seems like reparations now. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I see what
But
you mean.
instead, what it should be is, I say what it should be. What I would like it to be would be, again, like you mentioned about Musa, Master Musa. Master Musa, sorry, richest man ever lived, and it could just be about his story or what history knows
Let
about
me
it.
ask you guys a question, yeah? I agree with you. I didn't know the story. I watched it and it was entertaining. It was informative.
It was
good.
very empowering because he's
enjoyed
the
it.
first civil rights. You know, like if you actually
I deep
to
it, when you
win a
deep it.
case in the
Yeah.
Old Bailey.
But at the same time, why? It's the thing of, it's like, we're facing those same problems today, and that's why we find it empowering. That Richard, I don't want to pronounce his last name wrong, but the Richard boy that went missing, and there was misconduct done and all this kind of stuff. There's things like, oh, that wasn't treated well. But if it was, look how much time and effort's been put into Madeleine McCann. But Richard now, you see what I'm saying? We're still facing certain situations within police and within the government that we can identify as still right now, which is why we find it empowering. But if we stopped highlighting those things, we won't ever forget it because it happened to us. And we'll constantly, in these conversations, talk about, oh, bro, like, Brixton. Remember when Brixton back in the day, the riots, like we'll talk about that amongst ourselves. We don't need the BBC to then do a whole
do you know
big.
what it
do you
is?
see what I'm saying?
I think it's that 50-50. I'm
I hear
gonna
you,
let
yeah.
you talk Ed, one second. In the sense of as well, it's like, I guess that's the Small Axe series, the stories behind it. Like for example, with the Mangrove 9, I didn't actually know about it.
Yeah, I need
So
to
in the
be
sense
fair.
of, you know, one thing, I was informed.
Yeah, same.
I was informed, so I won't knock it like that.
Yeah,
Do you
I
get
don't
what
want
I'm
to sound like
saying?
I'm
It
knocking.
goes-
I know
it
it sounds
goes-
like I'm
give
knocking
credit
it.
where credit's due.
It goes back to what I said about the whole reason why we started this. It's about variety. Yeah? And my problem with the programming and cinema, etc.,
Programming.
is how many times can you turn on the TV or go to the cinema and watch something that is mainly black, that is not, doesn't focus on black trauma. Everything is traumatic. It's never just there was a film that I watched on Netflix, great film, a love story, and it was so refreshing. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, no, I think someone posted it. I need
Painter.
to watch it.
It's amazing.
I need
Do
to
you
watch
know
it.
why? It was just a love story. There's no black every single thing that you turn on the TV, you watch them. Family moves into a white neighborhood, they get targeted by white people. You watch something else, this, that. It's just like,
You know,
I feel
you know
like
what's going to
they're
happen.
just always just ramming black trauma down your throat. Can we just have a story where we just happen to be black and we're doing stuff?
And
Do
it's
you know
our
what I'm saying?
culture.
And there's no variety. There's just no variety. Everything is either, all right, cool, you lot wanted black shows, here's a ton of black shows, but they're all traumatic. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think
That's
this
my
is
problem.
where Jermaine would agree, because we've had this discussion so many times that this is where we start to create our own and start from us. Sometimes we put so much emphasis on what he's doing and what she's doing and what they're creating, but what are we doing?
But then
You know what I'm saying? So this is
Yeah,
where I'm going to
that's-
pass the mic to you, Jermaine.
Everything that everybody said, I 100% agree with everybody, and exactly what Simone said is, again, where I think we've had this discussion before, is to stop focusing on what they're doing and what they're giving us. It's just about creating something for ourselves. So when we look at, I think one of the most recent ones, I think 4 years ago, Shiro's story, independently made. And I just feel like we need more of that. I know for a fact we can do it ourselves. Instead of us keep saying to ourselves, okay, we got to get it on BBC or whatever. I definitely 100% feel that from what's been happening now with YouTube and stuff, we can create our own stuff. And that's what we're here to do.
Well, that's Tyler Perry's films.
Same.
They're not the best films. They're corny as fuck
Positive.
as well, but
Just
it's
straight
just
release.
it's just like that's what he does. He created his
we
own
can do
thing.
our own
He
thing.
doesn't have to be about black trauma. He just makes normal stories that just happen to have black people. That's what I want to see. Variety. If I want to go and see a gang film, I want to go and see a gang film. If I want to see a love story, I want to go and see a lot. Just give me a
variety. I get
you. Know what I'm
you.
saying?
Yeah.
We got to take it though. We say we just got to take control over what we're doing, and that's why I wanted to get involved in this podcast, because everybody, I feel, believes and understands we can. Just believe we can do it. We can do it. 100%. We've got loads of people that make. We've got directors. We've got loads of black actors, but we just need to do it. There was one actor, I can't remember what his name was. I think he produced Intent. Can't remember what his name was.
Femi.
Yeah, Femi. What he did say was, he said that he's tried to do positive films, but they don't get the response that the gangster films get. And I get that, but I just think if we keep trying and keep pushing and not necessarily do something for the money straight away, we will turn things around. But at the beginning, it's not easy. Like, even on the internet, when you check the internet, people that are doing things for clout, i.e. robbing someone or showing lots of money on the table, that gets a lot of attraction, loads of likes, loads of retweets. But the minute someone does something positive, not saying it doesn't get a reaction, but it takes a bit longer. And that's what I think we just got to endure that time scale to get to where we want to get to.
No, I think we're moving in the right direction though, just with like Channel 4, with the Black to Front project, and ZZ Mills now got her own show. And yeah, just like we're just moving in the right direction. If you look at her progression from YouTube and to where she is now, again, I think I don't really watch the show, but I think Gogglebox have released a few like more like specifically black people watching the shows type thing. So yeah, we're moving in the right direction. So it's again, patience is key.
I agree, and I don't want my comments to be perceived as overly critical. It's just that if we don't highlight these things, then nothing's going to change. So it needs to be highlighted that, okay, cool, we've got into a platform, we got into a stage where we can release our stuff. Can we have more of a variety so that, you know, whoever wants to tune into whatever can tune in.
Yeah.
Just so that the kids don't have to. It's just like Jermaine don't like drill, but there's other types of music there. You know what I'm saying? Variety. So the kids don't just turn on the TV and see someone like that, and it's only drill. Nah, there's R&B as well. There's other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Variety. Just so that someone can make an informed decision. This is what I like. Boom, boom, boom. That's it.
No, definitely. I agree. And also, sorry, go on.
I was just going to ask you, Jermaine. I feel everybody's kind of answered their thoughts on Black History Month, but I wanted to know what yours were. How do you feel about?
No, I think it's good. Like, I'm not going to take it away. I think it's good. I definitely feel like, just like you guys as well, I feel like it shouldn't just start from the slavery level. So that is the reason why we have to do our own things at home, because I'm a strong believer that I feel like there are people at the top that use psychology to influence our minds. So I definitely feel like it's not a mistake where certain things are just started at slavery level to make us feel less than. It's not, I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's meant to happen that way. So that's why us as parents, like Eddie does, same with me, we have to teach our children from home. And then whatever they teach at school, we just got to lead them to it, because we can't change that. They're all, they're do you know what I mean? They will do what they want to do. So we just got to do what we've got to do at home. So I think it's good. Overall, I think it's good. But I just feel like we also, one more thing, I feel like we also need to support it, because I don't see a lot of us supporting it on social media, but we might support something else that is not necessarily as important as our own history, for an example. So I think it's good. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But we're not going to get the balance that I would like to see, which is, like Ed said, let's start before slavery, way before we became enslaved. There's a lot of history before that our children need to be taught, but we're going to have to do it. I don't think it's going to get to where we want to get to in schools in the United Kingdom. I don't know what the schools like in Africa or Jamaica, but in the United Kingdom, it does start just at slavery.
It's interesting, slightly as we go off topic, but don't you think it's so interesting that the most important things in life that school don't teach you? Where it's kind of like race, and money.
That's another
They don't teach you about money. They don't teach you about money, but they also don't teach you how to just to learn about someone that don't look like you. You know
but it's not a mistake.
No, it's not. I agree with you. It's not a mistake.
It's not a mistake.
That's why I find, especially in the last year, which I think lockdown has encouraged. A lot of people are now homeschooling. A lot of people are homeschooling.
How do you not feel about that, actually, homeschooling?
I think it's
I
fantastic.
think it's amazing. I'd do it anyway.
It's just the time, right?
I don't call it. I'd do it anyway. Like, I have to do my own thing at home. So
have your syllabus, have your all of that. Yeah.
I teach my children what I know they're not getting taught in school, because they have to get. Everyone has to learn the school stuff. Not talking about there's certain things, just like you said, financial literacy, whatever it is, they're not getting taught. So whatever, because we've all been to school, we know what they're not teaching. We're not, the school curriculum hasn't changed. Like, they're not teaching our children about social media, how to use it to build and start your own business. They're not teaching that. So we have to do it, isn't it? So the school curriculum is behind. It's way behind.
I mean,
100%.
homeschooling, I personally wouldn't do it full time.
Not full
just
time.
because
I haven't got the time.
just
to be honest.
because I just ain't got the patience.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
But I think the way I parent my kids is that every single minute of the day is a lesson.
100%.
Like, I'm teaching them, they're doing something wrong, and I'll tell them, listen, this is why you shouldn't
100%.
do it that way. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like homeschool full time. I personally couldn't do it. I rate parents who can.
Yeah.
But I do, every minute in my household is a lesson.
Yeah.
I would love to do
I
it.
agree with Eds, actually. Sorry to cut. I agree with Eds. I think it's called homeschooling, where people think that, like, Eds or me is just with our children at the front of the class. It doesn't work like that. I'm like, Ed, sometimes it's just on the road. We're driving. That's homeschooling.
Yeah,
innit?
100. Because
So
again,
that's-
it's what you see.
Yeah,
you
on a
see
day to
culture,
day.
you see certain things, and it's just like you see someone getting pulled over.
Yeah.
For us, maybe in a white household in a white car, there's no need to have a conversation there.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a car with my 13-year-old son, and I see someone getting pulled over, then I'm gonna be like, 10 to 2.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, another educational moment for within our
Education
culture.
definitely, I think, should be all times
Yeah.
in the park,
that's
in the
what it
car.
is. Yeah.
But I was specifically talking about parents that do
homeschooling.
homeschool, and I think I don't have any babies myself yet.
Say yet. Make sure
But-
you say yet.
But I think it's something that I would really, really consider. You know what I mean? And I'm a part of a community. We're called the Waroho House, and we've got parents that set up homeschooling, but the children lead the subjects and the lessons or the teachings for the day of what it is that they're doing. So
And you more like the parents almost supervise.
That's
It's like
it.
They bring you
Literally.
the syllabus. I love that.
Because
But
I'm
do
there-
do they still do the same tests that
You
the
need.
the kids at the normal schools do?
no,
or
no.
different tests.
They're just,
or what?
I don't actually know what testing systems they're doing because I haven't actually facilitated or been a part of the homeschooling. It's called Soma Academy.
Yeah.
So they've only just set up through the lockdown last year. But again, I think with what Jermaine's saying is that our children have the capacity to reach further than what the school curriculum has to offer. And I was talking to a sister actually last night, and we was talking about children, and like when kids used to go missing in school. And you're like, oh, Nana's gone back to Ghana.
Yeah.
Or do you get what I'm saying? Like, in a sense of, because if they're messing up in school here,
Yeah.
the parents
Oh, right, I'm
know
with you. Yeah, I'm
what
with
it's like to be schooled back home.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a different setup.
Yeah,
So then it's like you're going to send your child back home because the teachings there, the curriculum there is different.
Yeah, the way ahead.
Do you get
Do you
what I
know-
mean?
I'm not against it. I think, probably, even especially at younger years, the kids might get more from it. But it's more so. My questions would be around, like, obviously we're all trying to better ourselves. We all want our children to kind of surpass everything that we've done. And would that then, the fact that they've been homeschooled, would that play against them in terms of then when they're trying to get the top jobs and stuff like that? Oh, what's your schooling been? Oh, I was homeschooled and stuff like that. Would that then would that then go against them? Or,
Me and my
do you know
brother
what I'm
have
saying?
thought about this because he's got a son, 3 years old now, going to be 4 soon. And I think the only important test that they have to take as a child is the GCSEs. The SATs, or the SATs, sorry, they're only to make sure that your child is at a level of that it's supposed to be at the age group. And if for whatever reason the government or the schooling board have any they are under any impression that you're not keeping up with that syllabus, then they'll be like, okay, well, we want to see your son take an SAT test and see where his reading level's at for his age group and And that's not mandatory.
That's for the schools, really.
That's for the
them
schools to
put
see
them
where
in the
you
right
are and all
route.
that kind of stuff. But if you were homeschooling, then the government could be like, oh, well, we have reason to believe that you're not keeping up to X, Y, Z, and they're not in school, so please make sure your son or daughter has to take the SATs test. And if they pass it, now you'll continue what you're doing. If you're not, then you either have to update it or, sorry.
No.
So no, I was I was gonna say I'm a positive believer that the kids should go to school. I think homeschooling with just the parents and the child. I think going to school is good because you get to meet different cultures, you get to experience different things. So I think going to school, just period, I think is a good experience for all of us.
It's a better reflection
of the real life. Yeah, I think this.
There's pros and cons. As I said,
I
this
think so
community,
as well.
this group, there's a group of them. So it's not just me and you. Because what was happening? Remember lockdown? Kids couldn't go to school.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they still do it online, but as a collective, and then every so often they meet up. It may be something that we probably invite them.
Yeah, we get them.
And
on
then
the show.
we get them to talk about
And
what they
also,
do.
If there's any teachers that are listening to this, head teachers, please comment below and let us know what it is or what it isn't in terms of homeschooling and GCSEs and stuff.
If you want to talk, if you're a teacher and you want to talk, if you're a black
Please.
teacher, even better. If you want to come and talk and tell us more about stuff within the homeschooling or just the schooling situation, then please come along.
Excuse me.
But definitely a good topic. We'd love to just go into more detail, I think.
Definitely. And we ain't experts here.
Exactly.
We ain't experts, but if you know more about certain subjects, as I said, we will be inviting guests over. I think we've all answered that question.
I think so.
Either way, we're going to have a fabulous October. Black History every day. You know what I'm saying? So
Every day.
And black is beautiful every day. We just want to thank you all for coming through, watching our first full episode of Black is Beautiful podcast. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment on subjects that you would like to hear from us talk about. Give thanks. Until next time. Peace.
Blessings,
In a bit, guys.
blessings.
In a bit. Stay safe.